Can you not be as tall as you are?
That dude's gigantic.
He's 6'7" or 7'6". Dude,
it's a good thing he's funny.
He's a freak.
If he wasn't funny, he would be creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, same with you.
Thank you. You want to talk about race, TJ?
No, I don't.
I don't either. Bye, everyone. No.
Bye. I seek.
So yeah, we just watched this preacher in Malaysia, and he's talking. So I think this is less of a. And there's obviously he's talking about race, but there's a bigger issue of freedom of speech going on here.
Malaysia became fully Muslim. Then you had the Chinese coming, you had the Indian coming, the Britishers coming. They are our new guest. Somebody called me a guest. So I said, before me, the Chinese are the guest. They aren't born here. So if you want the new guest to go first, ask the old guest to go back.
Indian Muslim preacher Zakir Naik is sparking controversy in Malaysia. Naik has millions of followers on social media and is the founder of Peace TV, which has an estimated 200 million viewers worldwide. He is currently a permanent resident of Malaysia. India revoked his passport in 2017 over charges of money laundering and hate speech. Now, Malaysian politicians are also calling for him to be deported. 7 out of Malaysia's 13 states have banned him from speaking in public. Race and religion are sensitive topics in Malaysia, which is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious country. Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad had this to say.
To be permanent resident, you cannot participate in politics. He was talking about sending the Chinese back to China and Indians back to India. That's political. We are very careful about how we say things that are sensitive to the different communities in this country. It is quite clear that he wants to participate in racial politics in Malaysia. Now he's stirring up racial feeling, and that is bad.
Zakir Naik is now being investigated by the Malaysian police for breaching public peace.
Right. And he's in Malaysia, he's not in the US, he's not protected by the Constitution as he would be here. He's talking about, say aside the issue of his residency status, because that was an issue when they brought in the Malaysian Prime Minister. I don't know the residential laws in Malaysia. We're going to set that aside and just talk about what he's saying. So he's talking about deporting all these ethnic groups out of the country. He's stirring up racial tensions, perhaps. Do you think he should be allowed to do that?
No, I don't think so. He's saying that it's like, okay, like you guys can do what you want to do, but as long as you fucking do it where I'm telling you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that's fucking right. But I mean, what do I do? Like, what's my fucking thing on that? Like, I don't think it's something that I ought to be telling other people that I should do or that they should do. So, like, how do I do that? Like, how do I fucking tell people, like, this is not cool?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, there's probably a line to be drawn somewhere.
Yeah.
Because we have had in this country, over the years of civil rights and whatnot, we've had a history of people who are not just preaching. Like, it's one thing to say out in public, I don't like this group of people.
Yeah.
It's another thing to incite violence or incite action against that group of people.
Yeah.
And we have people in DFW right now, the IFB Church. I'm blank on the name, but I probably shouldn't. Steadfast. They're preaching, taking actual hurtful actions against the gay community. Do you think? I imagine that in a libertarian society, people just say whatever they want and the chips just fall where they may.
I think you should be able to say whatever you want, but I mean, yeah, obviously it's bad just because, like, if you want to say that there's these certain things that you want to say people shouldn't be allowed to do, like, if you're going to say that, then fine, own up to that. If you say, hey, you shouldn't be able to do this, okay, then what are you going to do about that? If they don't do anything about that, or they don't say that, like, there should be this thing that we should do when people do these certain things, like, why say that then? You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't. Okay.
Yeah. Freedom of speech ends at your nose, right?
Exactly,
What if they are inciting or advocating violence, though?
Well, that's
would that be different?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, I would say. I would say that's different.
And they're doing it from a pulpit.
Yes,
which
of course.
means they have followers that hang on all their words.
Yes.
Do you think
I
that?
Yeah.
Do you think that? I mean, we have laws against like hate speech, libel, slander, perjury, and stuff like that. So freedom of speech is an absolute in our society. We can regulate that. But talking hate from the pulpit, that could fall under freedom of religion. Also, you think
hate and violence?
Yeah. So what do we do? Well, what's your
hate is different from violence, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
what do you think?
Well, I kind of agree with the same. Yeah, I think it's I don't want to be the arbiter of what. I don't want to be the speech police necessarily, but I think the same principle should apply as is with religion as is with speech. As long as you're not interfering, trying to impose on someone else's freedom, and try to actually physically impact someone's life, then you should be able to practice as you want. The problem is right now in many states, Texas included. I have no objection to Christians of any stripe being able to practice their religion in church on Sundays in their homes and with their communities, but you have now businesses being given the freedom to discriminate against LGBT employees, potentially single mothers.
Do you think discrimination is not a good thing, like to be able to discriminate?
Are you talking about like the idea of discriminating taste or something like that?
Discrimination, yeah.
But there's a difference between being picky, choosy, and choosing only the finer things in life, and just deciding with a broad brush that you're not going to accommodate this whole group of people.
Okay, all right.
Given a limited amount of resources at, say, a TSA airport checkpoint, would you be in favor of discrimination to maybe not so much racial profiling, but profiling of a general category of individuals that might provide a higher propensity of violent actions?
Well, so we've all had this experience of going through security and seeing people who, at a glance, you can rule out as non-jihadists. I mean, we all I've argued for in the few things I've said about profiling is that we should be honest about what we're looking for. We're looking for suicidal jihadists. Now there are other suicidal people who may bring down planes, but as a general matter, we're looking for people who are the functional equivalent of the 19 hijackers, right? So we're not looking for 80-year-old women from Okinawa. We're not looking for little girls from Norway. If Jerry Seinfeld is going through the airport, if he gets the same search that someone who looks like Osama bin Laden does,
right,
that's a crazy misuse of resources.
There's a balance between freedom and security, right? And there's probably an argument to be had about how we want the pendulum to sway. Like, it would be very, very secure if we all had cameras in our homes monitoring everything we do on a daily basis. We could probably root out a lot of terrorism that way. But it'd be at a huge cost of freedom. We'd be living in 1984 society. Yeah. Whereas, entirely freedom would be no TSA whatsoever.
No, but where everything would actually be up to the fucking people that were determining the fucking,
Right.
I get that, yeah.
So I think the discussion would be, okay, where do we draw the line?
Yes,
and I would personally rather be free enough where we are not singling out a ethnicity or racial group or people who dress a certain way.
Exactly.
Knowing that maybe that leaves a little bit more risk.
Yeah, because there are
an
things
attack.
that happen. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not personally going to compromise my principles.
No, yeah, you don't want to say that this is like the thing that I want to be absolved of or whatever. Going into this fucking thing that I'm fucking I get it. Yeah.
And also, doesn't TSA also already have the things they have to walk through, the metal detectors,
and
you have 6-ounce bottles that you can take. They have all these rules already for everybody.
Yeah.
They should not have to. They should not do anything more than what they've done already.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole other thing. We can
Because
talk
that
about the
is-
TSA
that
and how
covers
effective it
everybody.
really is, but just as an
Everybody has to
example.
follow
Back to the
rules.
video.
Yeah.
So, so as much as
Because people
I'm putting
don't
to
have
opposition here, 'cause I don't like what this guy's saying. Now, I didn't see enough to say, okay, he wants people to get out of the country, certain ethnic groups, which we also have in this country. Yeah, people want Mexicans out of the country and so on and so forth. So that's definitely not something that is universal. I didn't see enough in the video where he was like advocating like violence
No,
against these people,
I didn't even see
forcing
that. I
them
didn't
out
see that
against
either.
their will.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, if he's not like actually trying to get something that forcibly
Inciting violence.
harmful to happen
Okay.
against them,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty okay with him being able
You're
to say
okay
so.
with that, right? Yeah. Okay. Well,
So,
so he was okay with that.
yeah. So leave your hate comments below. And,
Right?
so leave your hate comments below. Enjoy being free to post them, and we will enjoy being free to say more dumb stuff in future videos.
Bam.